Hi, my name is Kansas Cafferty. I am the director at True North Recovery Services, outpatient treatment for addictions in Carlsbad, California. You can find us at www.sandiegoaddictions.com. One of the questions that I get sometimes is, how do I know if what I have going on is an addiction? It comes up all the time. There are a lot of people who can't really tell the difference. Am I just partying? Am I just having a good time? Or is this something more? Is this a problem? Is this something that I need to get some sort of help for or some kind of treatment for? So I wanted to give you a little bit of information about that. As I've been working in this field for about 15 years, and there are certain criteria that we go by when we're diagnosing somebody with an addiction. Um, One of the first things that comes up is most people that have an addiction issue have a higher tolerance than normal. One of the things, it's a little counterintuitive, but it seems like, oh, he can hold his liquor or she can hold her liquor. Sometimes people think that means that they don't have an alcohol problem, and in fact, it actually may mean that they're more likely to have an alcohol or drug problem. That tolerance is actually a sign of dependency. Most people, a couple of drinks is about all that they really need. They feel a little bit of buzz and they're good to go. Um, so that is one of those things. Tolerance is one of the major factors involved with an addiction. So I'm sort of peeking over here at my DSM-4, which is actually the diagnostic manual for this. And as you can see, there is, we actually call it substance dependence in here. They don't actually use the word addiction. They're working on a DSM-5 right now, and the DSM-5 supposedly is going to actually call it addiction. One of the things that could come up is withdrawal. Withdrawal symptoms vary pretty widely, depending on the person, depending on the drug. Say for our purposes right now, I'll use alcohol. One of them is if you're shaken. You ever try to take a bite out of your cereal and all of the cereal falls out of your spoon in the morning? Probably a sign that there's actually a physical dependency going on. People will sometimes work through that earlier in their alcoholism, and then later on they'll actually get to a point where they're no longer able to do that and they have to drink in the morning. That's usually in the later stages of alcoholism, though. Other drugs, there are going to be other withdrawal symptoms as well, like opiates have their own sort of thing. Feels kind of like the flu. Until they take more of the drug. With alcohol, it can go all the way up to seizures. Same thing with benzodiazepines, sort of like Xanax. Xanax is something we see a lot of here. This is not something that happens with every person. It's not something that happens every time with every person. Some people have intermittent withdrawals. They'll have them at times. There will be other times when they don't have them at all. And there are some people that do still meet criteria that have no withdrawal symptoms whatsoever. So don't rule that out as, okay, yeah, I know I'm fine because I don't have any kind of noticeable withdrawal. Some other signs might be nausea in the morning. If you're nauseous in the morning until you do drink or until you kind of get on with your day, that could also be a sign as well. Using more than you planned on using is a big one. I go out and I plan on having one or two drinks, and all of a sudden I'm finding myself closing the bar down or having 8 or 9, and got a test in the morning. Those can be signs that we're losing control. I've heard it put that the man takes a drink, the drink takes a drink, and then the drink takes the man. And I think that's a pretty good way of explaining this. We're trying to cut back on the substance use. This could be, okay, I'm no longer going to drink hard liquor. I'm just going to drink beer. I'm going to only drink wine, or I'm going to start to buy. I'm going to drink only on weekends, or I'm only going to drink after 8 o'clock. All of these different sort of tricks that people play on themselves. Or I'm going to take a vacation and try to cut back. All of that. Maybe I'm just going to smoke pot for a while. All of these things might be there. Trying to obtain the substance. If I'm going to multiple doctors, if finances are an issue in my life and I am working really hard to, if when you go to do your finances, if you're on the more impoverished side, or if you're broke and you go to do your finances and you're setting aside your drinking and drug money first and then figuring out what bills you're going to pay, that's probably a sign. You probably want to watch that. Blackouts could be a sign that you're having some problems. That we're overshooting the mark. This is more than you want to be drinking. I don't think anybody really plans on going out and having a blackout. And then we're looking at all of a sudden things don't seem like I don't want to go do that. I don't want to hang out with those people. A lot of times it seems like it's probably because we're being judged for something, or our relationships aren't going well, things like that. Could be the same with our employment. chronic lateness. I've heard it said at times one of the ways is alcoholics tend to work the hardest on Tuesdays because they called in sick on Mondays, and it's not always the case. I don't usually call them functioning alcoholics. I will say they're working alcoholics because there's usually a loss of functioning in some area of somebody's life, even if they're working. But I'd go ahead and look at it that way. I'd say, are there some problems? Is it harder to get to work on time? Are you missing more days at work? Alcoholism, drug addiction costs a lot of money to the workforce and the economy here in the U.S. Um, and then one of the major ones that you hear that we hear about the most often is just continued use despite negative consequences. Bad things happen, and I continue to drink and use anyway. That's a big one. If that is happening, usually that's where denial starts to come in. We start to say, oh, well, it's because of this, it's because of that. Well, the reality is these problems are probably related to the drinking and drug use. So, that's sort of a nutshell. I'm going to keep it short. There will be more videos to come. If you want to check out our channel, there are a lot of other videos as well. Like I said, SanDiegoAddictions.com. You can also find us at OCPAM.com. That's Orange County Psychiatry and Addiction Medicine. So, have a good day. Stay safe. I will talk to you later.